So today's lesson is another lesson about mode. I'm sure some of us struggled with trying to write the mode method. This uses an alternate technique. In this technique, we don't have to have the scores sorted to do this. So here's my array of scores that are clearly unsorted. And I'm going to create another array called counts. And count will be an array that I'll have to determine the size of the array. I want the array to count for me how many times I get a 23 or a 27 or a 28 or a 22 or whatever the scores are. Let's assume these are test scores or quiz scores. The highest is a 30. So if I know the highest score, and I'm pretty sure we have a method for max and min. So if I know the highest score, I can create an array that goes up to that highest score. If my scores were test scores and they ranged from 0 to 100, I'd have to have an array of size 100, actually 101, if my highest score was 100, because I would need a position 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by initializing my count array, which is an array of ints, all to zeros. Because before I look at the scores themselves, I have 0 of each score that you see here. So there would be 0 1s and 0 2s and 0 19s and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this, I'll write a quick for loop, and I'm not going to write the whole thing out. You know how to do this, as long as count is less than, I'll use I for the index, as long as index I is less than count dot length. And I need to visit everyone, so I plus plus. And then the only thing we're going to do in here is set, I don't think I need this. The only thing we're going to do here is set count sub I equal to zeros. So that will do this. That will set everybody in the count array to 0. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to copy this copy that, and I'll paste that, if I can find edit, and we'll paste that, and we'll use this again. So I'm going to go through the loop again, but this time I'm going to go through the scores loop. So I'll change this to scores.length. And I'm going to go through the entire scores array. And what I want to do is, as I look at the scores array, if whatever score it is, and for example, when I is a 0, this is I here, when I starts at a 0, I want to look at scores sub I, which would be the score 23. And then I'm going to go to the count, and in position 23, I'll change the count from 0 to a 1. So how will I access that? Well, this is the index, which I'm going to start at 0, and as I increments, I'm going to visit each score sub I. And let me put that in a dummy for a second. So I'll make a dummy variable, which I'll call S. It'll be one score. So score sub I will be S. So in this example, that score sub I when I is a 0 would be a 23. And then I'm going to go to count sub S, which would be 23, and in that position, I want to increment that. So I'm going to do count sub s plus plus. And that will take care of adding 1 to that count. So this for loop here is going to go through the entire array called scores and grab each score, store it in S, and then go to count sub S, which is the position in the array that corresponds with the score. So we did this when we did our rolling the dice project a month and a half ago. So if I continue through, we have, let's go see if we can take a look here. As I becomes a 1, we're looking at 27, and then 20, we would increment 27. And then at 28, we would increment 28. And then it's a 27, so we'll increment 27. This will become a 2. And then we see a 22, so we go to position 22 and increment that one. That's what this for loop here is doing for us. When we're finished, I don't know what I just got up to, I guess 22, and then a 30, and a 30, we'll make that a 1, and then there's a 21, so we increment this guy, and there's a 25, this one gets incremented, and a 26, that becomes a 1, a 27, this becomes a 3 now, a 22, the 22 becomes a 2, and another 27, so this becomes this one becomes a 4. And then we can use this count array to find the mode. So you look through, and there's a 2, maybe that guy's the mode, and as you look through, you find that there's a 4, the one with the highest value, that one that occurred 4 times, 27 occurred 4 times, so we would return the index of where we found the largest number before. So that's an alternate method for doing, for finding the mode. It's a method I recommend if you struggled with the method I showed you in the last lesson. And I also recommend you use this method if you're trying to do multiple modes, which is one of the bonus questions. Talk to you tomorrow.